First and foremost, I think I would identify myself now as a mother, and of course these identities change over time.
As a Afro-Latino.
I am cisgendered, heterosexual. I'm recently married, so now I've become a wife.
I am a son. I have a partner. I'm gay. Also a geek who plays D&D.
Half Kenyan, Kikuyu specifically.
I always tell people that I'm Chinese, although I guess I should say Chinese American.
Originally from India, coming from the Southeast Asia, a proud father, husband.
I'm a first generation Chinese American. My parents immigrated.
As a mother, as a wife.
I was born on the banks of the Singing River, which is the Tennessee, on Chickasaw territory. I am a mother, a grandmother, a child psychiatrist.
I see myself as a child psychiatrist.
A child psychiatrist, of course.
I am an infant preschool psychiatrist.
Clinician, researcher.
I'm a psychiatrist. I'm a child psychiatrist.
I think I'm an advocate for those who are suffering in silence.
I just really like hearing people's stories. I really like working with kids, and I really like talking to kids. And so I said to myself, I just want to be either a pediatrician or be a child psychiatrist.
Well, I had no intentions of being a psychiatrist when I started medical school. When I got to the psychiatry rotations, luck of the draw, was placed on a child psych rotation. And by day 2, I was in love.
If you really like to work with the kids, you really want to make a big change in their life. We have the opportunity. Listening to them, you are not helping them, you are also helping the whole family. You are helping their future. So there is a great work to do with this population.
You get to understand a person more thoroughly than perhaps somebody who treats people on a physical basis.
And in so doing, you're also learning about a lot of different, systems. So you're learning about how they're doing at school, how, the education system, or sometimes the juvenile justice system, or sometimes the other systems that kind of try to help support kids are either working or how they're not quite meeting the needs of certain patients or families.
There's no better reward than seeing your patient get better and not need you anymore. And I find that happening a lot in child psychiatry.
It is so beautiful to be able to see the world through a child's eyes, to try to understand their perspective. Just to be able to experience that on a daily basis is so refreshing. It keeps me young.
I can't even imagine my life without being a child psychiatrist, because every day I wake up and then I see children, I feel rewarded. And at the end of the day, I feel like at least I did something to change someone's life in a positive direction.
If you feel the calling for this, it is the most rewarding, wonderful, heart-touching career one can have.
Even the days when I'm like, I don't want to work today. Then you get in front of the camera, or you go to the office and you're meeting with somebody, and it's like it all goes away. You remember, like, this is something that makes me so excited.
You can see and hope that you're helping to get someone on a better path because they've got a long time ahead of them.
My father, when he was in hospice, when he was actually dying, all the family, we were all there because he's Buddha. Our family, he was Buddhist. And there's a Buddhist belief that when one is passing away, they need to be surrounded by a positive, calm environment, and also their family, their friends or loved ones to help them kind of into the next stage of their life, the transition to the afterlife. And we weren't allowed to do that because the physicians kept pushing us out, and there was a lot of chaos. And I just remember at that point thinking, I wonder if there's something I can do in the intersection of healthcare where that matches kind of the cultural aspect, and just seeing the humanity in people.
When people come to me and say to me, it's so glad to come and find somebody who speaks my language. It is just so reassuring. It is so nice to see somebody that looks like me. It is somebody to be working with somebody, and it's so comforting to be working with somebody who understands the country that I come from.
as a provider, I would say when I see certain minority patients, they feel relieved to have a provider who gets it. And it's not just minority patients who look exactly like me, it's just minority patients.
When other African Americans see me come into the room, I know that many times the interaction is just different. I can let my guard down. I being the patient, I can talk the way I normally talk. I can act the way I normally act. Some patients have just told me it's a relief.
And I would go to some appointments with either my mother or my grandmother at the medical center, and no one spoke Spanish. And no one looked like us. At the time, the neighborhood was mostly Dominican. Everybody in this neighborhood is Dominican, and yet nobody looks like us who works at the medical center. So it was my goal to be there at some point.
As a minority, you don't have a lot of major people in the field that look like you. I think there's a little bit of challenge to kind of see how you would fit in the field.
I would also say sometimes some patients don't want to be seen by me because of my skin color or my accent. And that is sad.
I mean, we can feel it. You can feel when someone has their own preconceived notions of how we are. And I think just speaking to people like humans, right? So telling them about how I go kite surfing and how I actually dropped out of medical school, and just to help give some texture and personality that I am a real person too. I'm not just this this kind of doll or a robot of an Asian American physician.
One of the things that can happen as we go through our journey is that we may feel intimidated about asking for help. Something that I think is really important is just know when to ask for help. And this is where mentors come in, right?
One beautiful thing about the ACAP, and it's a very unique aspect about ACAP, is mentorship.
I've had a mentor in every step of my life. Mentors in college, mentors in residency, medical school.
At 69, I still have mentors. People are still taking care of me. And that is my great talent. That's my superpower.
Sometimes people say that you have the one mentor. I said, if you have the more than one mentor, go for that. We need the mentor, either you're in the clinical practice or in the academics or in the advocacy or wherever you are.
I also have had support from my fellow students, then my fellow residents, and now my fellow colleagues. If we're wise and listen to our mentors, there's some wheels that we don't have to reinvent, and there's some heartache we don't have to experience.
These are people who see something in me that I don't see, and they really support me and foster, and I think they see what my biggest limitation is.
The great imposter syndrome that we all have at one point or another, going, I don't know that I should be here, or I don't know that I can do this, but then they brought me along and said, yeah, you can do this.
They push a little bit, very kindly, very gently, and they're supportive, especially when there are life difficulties, like we all have.
So I personally think mentors are super important in one's life and career.
There's not enough treatment providers that look like the patients that we serve.
And so I'm always thinking about ways in which I can incorporate more people into my practice that look like me. It excites me when people call me and they right away on the phone tell me, oh, we want to see you because we were looking for a Black doctor. Oh, we want to see you because we were looking for a Latino doctor.
In our field currently, there's a major shortage of providers.
This is of no exaggeration. I believe it is the most underserved area of medicine.
Which in this country during the COVID and after the COVID, it has been a very needed field.
And we are in the national crisis for not having enough professionals to help our youth, which is impacting our future.
To deal with the level of isolation and uncertainty and the bullying as well that they had online, being able to be a consistent, stable person who's there and trying to be the umbrella and coordinating and figuring out how to help what I call an enabling environment for that child. And to see them kind of grow within that structure and support is just, it's a gift.
Certainly the rewards are great, but the need is even greater.
There are so many options. You can do anything in child psychiatry. If you want to work in the school system, I guarantee you can work in the school system.
You can do policy, you can do research, you can do, I mean, there's so much one can do.
Child psychiatrists are in such demand that in several places you could probably say, I want to do some of this, some of this, some of this. I've done that.
A big push for ACAP in general. It has been a second home for me. It has been a professional home. It has nurtured me.
The good thing is that I meet a lot of like-minded people and colleagues and get to learn from them and share my thoughts with them.
And it's just a nice family kind of community that I've really appreciated.
I guess if there's anything to say, it's that you should kind of like look at everything as a possible opportunity and apply and meet people and talk and share your ideas. And even if you think they're silly,
know that we are here, that we are invested in your success, because your success is our success, and your success at the end of the day will help improve the lives of children and families in the United States.